Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everybody's doing well. It is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Saturday morning. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate the support, appreciate the banter inside. And the first thing I need to do is I need to run over and say hi to a number of people in chat. All right, so I want to say thank you to everybody. So let me go ahead and pull up this participants list real quick and say thank you. So we got 75 in pennies, baby. Thank you so much for being here. Big Apple Stackers in the house. Big Apple, thank you so much. 75, thank you so much for being a channel member. I definitely appreciate you. Brown Sugar's in the house. I love you, Brown Sugar. Appreciate you so much. Jerry Parker's in the house. Member C Happy Chappie's in the house. William E., thank you for being a channel member. I appreciate you being in the house. Let's see, we got EMR Coins. EMR Coins is here. We got Siren. Siren is here. Thank you again for being in the chat. See Happy Chappie channel member. Appreciate you so much, brother. Thank you for being in the chat. Appreciate you joining the live stream. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but I do have a special guest. You'll be seeing that here in a minute. You'll see that off to this side, there's a whole lot of space. It's indicative of something. We'll see what that is here in just a moment. You guys have asked for it, so I provided it. I think I already said hi to EMR Coins if I didn't. Hello. Paula Bloom is in the house. Thank you so much, Paula Bloom, for being here, for being a member. I definitely appreciate you. Paula Bloom is one of those people who has stood beside me, really helped me numismatically. I was going to say that differently, but I won't do that to her. But again, I wanted to thank you so much for that. Blistering Barnacles is in the house. Thank you, Blistering Barnacles, for coming in. Old Bell has joined us. Jeff Davis is a channel member. Thank you, Jeff Davis, for coming in and being a part of this. I definitely appreciate you. I'm waiting for one person to enter a chat, and I want to do a call out. I got something in the mail, and when I received it, I was like, oh man, this is too cool. So I wanted to make sure I do a call out. So I'm going to be looking for somebody very specific. And when I see them, I'm going to stop everything and I'm going to go back and say, special how do you do to them. All right. So as many of you guys have kind of followed and seen what's going on, you've probably seen a screen that looked a little bit something like this. Oh yeah, it's Halloween. So if you see this screen, it is indicative of one thing, right? This is Frosty's Trivia Treat. Now, if you don't know what Frosty's Trivia Treat is, it's okay. Not a big deal. You can join in now. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. All it requires you to do is check out a couple YouTube shorts, make a few comments, get added to the list, and then you're eligible for a drawing that I'm going to do periodically, randomly throughout the rest of October. You don't have to be right in the trivia. The whole premise behind the trivia is to give you some fun information, but also to learn something from it. You know, hey, that's what this channel is all about, is teaching some numismatic stuff. So I hope that you enjoy that. If you haven't done it, go to my channel, go click on the shorts. Shelby's in the house. Shelby, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you being part of the channel crew. Thank you so much. Steve looking for silver. Aha. Okay. I got a package from Steve looking for silver, and I'm glad he's here because I was waiting for him to come in. All right, so last week I told you guys I don't push channel memberships. If you want to do it, you can do it as a way to support the channel. Cool. I'm not pushing it. I'm not going out there. I'm not going to target you guys for it. If that's something you guys want to do, that's something you guys want to do. Awesome. I'm not going to peg you for super chats. If you guys want us to do a super chat, you guys want to start a train, hey, you know what, you want to support the channel, outstanding. I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to do games or giveaways based off of super chats, just because I don't think it's fair, especially in the economy that we have. If you can do it, you can do it. If you can't, you can't. I'm not even going to bother asking. But every once in a while, somebody does something extremely nice, not just for me, but for the channel, not just so that I can do something better, learn more, but I can also give you things to help out. Last week, Steve looking for silver and Big Apple were talking, and they watched my stream. And I got this package, and when I picked up the package, I was like, well, hold on. I don't remember ordering like did I buy a scent book or did I buy it? And I was like, I don't remember buying anything. So I opened it up and I got these. Well, the first two things that I got were 2 cents. Now, if you're familiar with my collection, I collect nickels, but I'm collecting specifically MS66, Lincoln cents, or I'm looking at MS66 nickels. See Happy Chappy with the 5 gifted memberships. Dude, now I can't see, this is the kind of stuff that absolutely rocks. See Happy Chappy, thanks, man. I appreciate that. So we've got Steve looking for silver. Oh yeah, come on, beautiful. Jerry Parker, Blistering Barnacles, Great Scott, and Shelbean. Oh, you guys, see Happy Chappy, that's absolutely awesome of you. Thank you. Steve looking for silver, serendipitous, right? I can't tell you how cool that is. That's awesome. You guys, please say thank you to See Happy Chappy. Absolutely freaking phenomenal. Thank you so much for doing that. So anyway, I got 2 MS66 nickels from Steve looking for silver. Absolutely awesome, absolutely cool. So thank you. But he was listening to what I was saying about my super chats and the membership money and all that stuff going back to the channel, trying to do what I can to get books, get information so I can study and share. And he was at the live, LCS, and he saw something. He goes, oh, Frosty said he was wanting to get one of those. And you know what he did? He bought me a cherry picker's guide. And he sent it to me. And I wanted to say a huge, huge thank you. Because you know what? Super chats and stuff are cool. I really appreciate it. I've had other people send me information. I've had people send me coins. This kind of stuff really just blesses the socks off of me. So Steve looking for silver, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you, brother. This is absolutely awesome. I'm going to be able to look at more varieties and understand kind of some of the things that I'm looking for. Be able to go find some really cool things when I'm at my LCS or when I'm at coin shows or stuff like that, and really look through this. Ladybug Stacker's in the house. Ladybug is a phenomenal supporter. She's a channel member as well, so thank you so much for being in. But again, Steve looking for silver, I just wanted to take a minute and say thank you. Again, this really did bless the socks off of me. If you really don't believe me, I'm not wearing any, right? I just, but thank you so much. I appreciate you. And this will get a lot of use. So thanks so much, Steve looking for silver. I do appreciate you a ton. Okay. All right. So we're back to this. So if you see this screen, then you know that we're in the trivia thing. Now, hint, hint, wink, wink. If you're here tomorrow, you'll probably want to make sure that you've gone and seen a couple of those shorts and maybe said a little how do you do on a couple of them. Hint, hint, wink, wink, not really saying something's going to happen, but there's a big potential. So again, if you want to be a part of that wheel and you want to be a part of that festivity, then please go check out those shorts. Frostys neon shorts, right? So go check those out, make a couple comments on those. We'll pull the names and then we'll do that. All right, so let's get to today's topic. Okay, we've already kind of blew through about 10 minutes of this, excuse me. All right, I got a few more people to say hi to. All right, Steve looking for silver again. Again, you know, being a channel member, thank you so much. I can't see Happy Chappy, you're a stud, man. Thank you so much for being in here. It's good to see people being green. Let's see, we got Great Scott's in the house. Great Scott, outstanding. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you coming in. Ladybug Stacker, Shift Kicker's in the house. Shift Kicker said, thank you so much for coming in. I definitely appreciate you guys. Nightbot is here. Nightbot's always here. All right, let's see. Who did I miss? Did I miss anybody? If I missed you, I'm sorry. I think I got everybody. Frank Mons is in the house. Man, Frank, I didn't even see you snuck on in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you coming in. All right. So today's topic. We were talking in Joe Durbin's stream the other day, and there was a comment that was made regarding a scent. There was some scents that had been wrapped in tinfoil, and somebody made a comment of, oh, I love wheat scents, and it was like a 1960s roll or something. And it was like, fill the board. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you being here. And they were like, hey, you should do a short on this 1959 coin. And I was like, 1959 coin, we can do that. Well, the coin that they wanted me to talk about was this one. Now, if you guys look at this, you notice there might be something a little wrong. All right? And that is, whoops, it helps if I put it up. I forget how this works sometimes. But I also wanted to do something else. And that is, I haven't had BYFROST on here for a while. So now I want you guys to know we've changed her name a little bit. It's not BYFROST, it's BYFROST, like in the magical transportation thing from Asgard to the different seven realms. And that's because she transports us into a different kind of world. And oh, wait, I said BYFROST. That must mean we have a live guest. And who's that live guest? It is, in fact, BYFROST. So she's going to be drawn for us. If you see the little cartoon caricatures down here on the left below me, you're going to see that we have Wolverine. So she's going to be doing the Wolverine. The coin set that's on the, or the pencil set that's on the top came from Mrs. Me. So she wanted to point that out, let them know that she's using that. So she's going to be drawing this while we're talking about this coin. So I'll let her go ahead and move that and go ahead and fire away. Oh, Joe McBride is in the house. Miss Coin Crew. Hey, Miss Coin Crew, love you to death. Saw your video. Absolutely understand. You do whatever you need to do. We're always here for you. Love you bunches and bunches. All right, let's see. Robert Caldwell's in the house. Robert Caldwell, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you coming in and supporting the channel. All right, so let's get to this. All right, so I have done another video on this particular MULE error. And we've kind of talked about this particular coin a little bit. There's some refraction going on her screen. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. See if I can figure out why it's a little fuzzy. You know what, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out, but we'll show you a little bit more. So 7 Stacks, thanks you for being here. Jack Goldman's in the house. Thank you for being here, brother. So I've talked about this particular MULE error in a video that I did before. But the one thing that I really kind of wanted to discuss today is the controversy around this particular coin. Because I don't know if you guys are know a little bit about this particular coin. So this is a 1959. Okay, so this is the 1959 Denver. And this is supposed to have not this. It's supposed to be a memorial reverse. So the end of the wheat cents happened in the year 1958. And so a MULE error, right? That error is when you mix the versions of coins to where, like, you have a Mercury dime, right? But you have the wrong reverse, or you have the Sacagawea dollar and you have the presidential dollar reverse. You have the 1/4, but it has the Sacagawea dollar reverse, right? So those are MULE errors. So that means that they don't, the die pairings are not correct. They don't have the intended die pair. And so when we look at these particular ends of the coin, the obverse and the reverse, that wheat reverse should not be on this coin. Now, there's some cool things about this particular thing, and I'm going to get over here and I'm going to pull this up because I want to talk about this particular item. Now, again, 1959 was the end of this. Now, I'm not looking at chat right now because I'm kind of looking at my notes and stuff. So if you're entering into chat, if Paula's saying something, listen to Paula. I can come back and I can correct if I happen to say something wrong. But in 1959, the U.S. Mint changed over from the wheat reverse to the memorial cent reverse. Okay, so because this has the wheat reverse on it, as I stated before, This is what they call a MULE error. Now, about 30 years after this coin was produced, and I do this because we'll talk a little bit about the controversy on this, a retired police officer contacted the US Mint and said that they had purchased a coin that was a 1955 Denver with a wheat reverse. And that person's name was Leon Baller. And again, he was a retired police officer. He said he had bought the coin from an unknown location for the price of $1,500. So I got back information from the Mint and said, go ahead and send it off. So in 1987, Baller went to the United States Department of Treasury, submitted this coin, knowing that if it was going to be a forgery, if it was going to be a fake, that they wouldn't return the coin. So he was taking a huge gamble here to try and find out if this was authentic. Now, this is where, hold on. Somebody gave me a super chat. Somebody became a member. I can't see it. Who became a member? Hold on. I got to move it. Miss Coin Crew has become a member. Thank you, Miss Coin Crew. Love you bunches. I so much appreciate you. I couldn't see my screen. I was reading my notes. Thank you, Miss Coin Crew. It blesses the socks out of me. Love you and appreciate you guys a ton. For those of you guys who don't know, Coin Crew has been great and avid supporters of the channel. They really helped me get off the ground, and they're brothers and sisters. So I love them, appreciate them a ton. So it means a lot that your membership, Miss Coin Crew. Thank you so much for that. So anyway, this Leon dude sends off this thing to the Treasury, and after a while, he gets this letter back. Now, this letter came back from a guy named Richard McDrew, and he was he wrote this letter. He wrote this statement. Now, this is where, depending upon where you read this, now you can look at this at like Coin Numismatic channels. You can look this at the US Mint. You can look at this at PCGS, NGC. A lot of different people, this is where the story starts to split. And you'll start to see camps of people who, well, is it real? Is it not? Is it authentic? Is it not? And you'll start to see this. And I'm going to kind of point out one of the major ones here in just a second. Okay, so the letter that he got back said this, and I want to read this because I want to make sure I get this exactly right. Enclosed is your United States 1 cent coin, dated 1959, Denver, with a wheat reverse. This coin was microscopically examined by our Forensic Services Division here in Washington, D.C. And it is our opinion that the coin is genuine. Now, here's where the division starts. Okay, so this particular one was written by Jamie Hernandez of PCGS, and it goes on to caveat something. What the letter did not mention was that the agent who inspected the coin was a currency expert, not a coin expert. Okay, so the question is PCGS trying to discount the letter that was done by the US Mint? Right? So when you look at some other ones, now I got another one here that is talking about the same thing, that says that when he did it, it just states that the coin is genuine. It doesn't do anything else. It doesn't caveat. Now, the second one that I'm reading it to is coming from the Numismatic News. And I like to bounce through different news sites. I like to look at different information. Again, if you take one source, you're going to get a spin that you may not get from somewhere else. So look at multiple sources, look at multiple angles. Even when you're looking at varieties, you don't want to just look at one site. You want to look at multiples. You may see things on one that you don't see on the other. It'll give you a better understanding of the coin that you're looking at or the bill that you're looking at. So look at multiple sources, right? Do your basic due diligence and take time to really kind of understand. So when I was looking through this, so initially I didn't really understand that there was so much controversy over this particular coin. But when I look at it, what was said in the Numismatic News is that the special agent for the Department of the Treasury stated, enclosed is your 1 cent coin dated 1959D with a wheat reverse. The coin was microscopically examined by our forensic service division, and in their opinion, the coin is genuine. It ends, because that's where the letter ends. They don't go into the fact that they're a currency expert. Yeah, they're not a coin expert. But here's where the controversy really starts. Even though the United States Mint Forensics Division, right, the Mint, the people who make coins, right, PCGS and NGC do not make coins. They grade them. The Mint says it's authentic, but PCGS and NGC are like, we don't think so. So there's some questions regarding the specifics about this. Now, when I go on and I read a little bit more, there's some situations, there's some topics that start to happen, right? So you start to see kind of the split in the camps. Is it real? Is it not? So the question, is it real? Is it not? I will get to towards the end of the discussion, because it's important that people know that this is something still highly debated, right? There are people who, they take the Mint and they say, yes, forensically checked, it's good to go. But again, is it clearly documented? If it's not clearly documented, then there has to be some rise of concern. Why would the U.S. Mint say something if they don't have clear documentation of this coin having been done? Now, looking at the numismatic news, looking at this particular one, they go on to say that this coin, once it was deemed authentic, both NGC and PCGS said that they were going to make no decision, right? They weren't going to grade the MULE, they weren't going to do this, they weren't going to talk about it. But the American Numismatic Association, the ANACS, right? The American Numismatic Association Certification Service, also said that they weren't going to do the grading. There was no evidence that the Mint produced the coin, and the Goldberg auction did it themselves, right? They went through, they gave it a grade of MS60, even though none of the top 3 grading services would confirm the coin. Now, they sold the coin, they went through, they processed the coin, and it sold for about $27,000. Now, they would go back through, or hold on, initially the coin, 2003, the coin sold for $48,300. Then it was re-auctioned, the same coin only realized $27,000, but then the estimate of the coin had gone through because there were issues, and it just ended up being a big issue. But when I go back to what PCGS, now this is, again, an article that was done by Jamie Hernandez. Now, this was 11 years ago, okay? Their numbers don't match what the other place states. So even as you're looking at some of these, the sell auction, the auction, the realized auction prices of this particular coin, it's not agreed upon. You go to Goldberg auctions and you look at it and it says it sold for $27,835. When I look at this one, it says $30,050. Now, the sale description for the Goldberg auction had a caveat and this particular coin. And this is what really caught me fascinated, because the Numismatic News didn't mention it. The NGC site didn't mention it. The US Mint didn't mention it. PCGS was very clear about stating that the property is not guaranteed to be authentic and is marketable and is as is and cannot be returned. Now, why would you state that? Why would you say, because what they're doing is they're covering their own tail. Well, this coin went back. I'm going to back up a little bit. In 2002, there's a big controversy that happened. Okay, I'm kind of getting my dates mixed up because my notes are put together in chronological order. So there was another auction that happened in September of 2002, and it got pulled back. And the reason that it got pulled back is there was a gentleman by the name of Mark Hoffman. Now, Mark Hoffman had wrote a letter to his son claiming that he had actually created the coin through a process that was called spark lettering or spark testing or something like that. And this is something that they know people have utilized to create counterfeits. And so when they got this letter, there was information that was spouted out about it. They ended up pulling the coin from auction. Now, Mark Hoffman was a convicted forger, right? This is somebody who had done this before. He had done this. There's a history of this in the past. So there was no reason to actually claim that he had done this unless he had actually done it. And it wasn't his son. It was actually sent to his daughter. I said that wrong. Now, the Secret Service had launched a full investigation. They went through, checked all of his items. They had looked through all of their evidence. They had checked through the forensics. They had checked all the pieces that they had, looked at the tools, and they found zero evidence supporting the claim that he had done this. And if you know anything about counterfeiting and stuff like that, you look at the people, they always put their hallmark, they always put a calling card. There's something in there that you look at the Henning nickel, you look at the Omega Man, there's people take pride in some of their work, but there was nothing that had been listed. There was no evidence, there were no photos, there were no pictures, there were nothing to state that Mark Hoffman actually had produced this coin. So if you know the mindset of the counterfeiter, in many cases they will document it. They want to see, and this happens with bills, this happens with coins, because one of the, I think it was Henning that stated it. I may have the name wrong. There's another engraver that did bills. He might have said it, I can't remember which one, but basically said there's no greater reward than getting back your item in change, right? Like you get your dollar bill back, or you get your $5 back, or you get the nickel back, right? So it's actually made it into the system. People aren't noticing it. It comes back to you. That's like a huge calling card. It's like a huge victory for them. And so it was really, really strange that the Secret Service would go through, they would look all this information, they would identify all of this, and they could not find anything that would warrant them collaborating the story that Mr. Hoffman had in fact duplicated this. Now, it went back, as I stated, in 2003, and the coin sold for the $48,300. And again, I'm sorry I'm getting some of the dates mixed up. My notes are not very clear. I thought I was a little bit better prepared for this, and now I'm looking at this going, I didn't put these in chronological order. This is going to be really hard to recall back. Now, in 1993, the American Numismatic Association again said, or ANACS, the American Numismatic Association Certification Service, I always forget the last part, said that they weren't going to confirm a grade. But it's been to the U.S. Mint twice. The second time they knew that there was a high likelihood that it could be maintained and stole, or I should say stole, but obfuscated. But again, it came back as being authentic. So what I want to do is I want to quit talking so much about this, and I want to kind of open it up to chat. Now, I have not been moderating chat. I have not been looking at it. I have not really been a part of that conversation. So I'm going to bring my chat window over here, if I can actually grab it. There we go. And I want to open this up kind of for conversation. So what do you guys think? What do you guys and gals think, I should say, regarding this? The only, so let's see. All right, so we got some things in here. They found evidence that someone tied it to the Cobsessus that found out that the coin and dice. Yeah, you know, again, they may have. the question is this one of those, is it somebody they knew, right? They just had a retired police officer. Was this somebody they knew? Now, kind of weird that the finder had ties to Utah and Hoffman was from. So there again, but this is where the controversy comes in, right, Paula? This is where all of the things you look at ANAX, NGC, PCGS, right? They look at more coins than anybody else. They look at, they're the ones that we entrust with the information. They're the ones that we trust with certification and verification. So EMR says, if by the off chance it was a mismatched die pairing somehow caught immediately, the die, there would have been, okay, that's exactly right. So here's another thing, looking at the numismatic news, by all estimates, there should have been, before they realized there was an error, an issue, there should have been a couple thousand of these that should have occurred, right? Now, Occam's razor, the simplest explanation usually is correct. That's true. But Paula, if you also look at the fact that we have known coins where the mint or the mint workers have purposefully minted a coin without approval, and there only being a couple varieties. Ergo, the 1913 Liberty nickel. It wasn't sanctioned, it wasn't approved. They minted 5 of them. There may have been more than 5. They're probably, a lot more than 5. There's 5 that we know of. 2 of them in private hands and 2 of them in museum and 3 of them in private hands. So we know, especially when you talk about the types of presses they use, we know that there have been individual versions of items being done. Knowing the minting process, well, when you're talking about the die, we know, but see, that's the thing, Paula, right? We do know the minting process, okay? But there's nothing to say, let's look at the V on the extra VDBV, right? How we know the minting process, we know what most likely occurred, we know that happened. It's most likely a mint person did that particular item. So who's to say that a mint person didn't actually mint, and it could have been more than one, right? They could have identified this. For instance, there's another thing. Let's talk about that Omega Man, right? The Omega Man coin is something that they still don't know who created. The V nickel is not, what's the V nickel then? Or the extra V? I thought the extra V was intentional. Not the 1913 V nickel was, or the Liberty nickel was minted without authorization. So, but there's only 5 of those known to exist. Well, that's the thing. So here's my thing. You find stuff all the time. You find retained. Some people are saying it's intentional, it's master hub damage. Okay. Oh, I've got to trust you on that because I don't know. There's 3 different dies, from what I understand, or 5 different dies. So not master hub. Okay, now I'm confused. Working hub. Okay, I missed that chat. That makes a little bit more sense, because that's why there would be 5. Yeah, but so Superbird. Okay, so there's certain items that when you look at 75 and pennies. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I graciously appreciate the kindness on that. Yeah, but so again, the whole point about this is, even in here, right? Even amongst the experts, people can't agree on exactly what this particular coin is. Now, with PCGS, I'm getting squirreled. Okay, so what we're talking about is the likelihood that this was manufactured. Okay, not counterfeit, manufactured. So this happened at the U.S. Mint. Okay, now we don't know that. We don't know if it's a counterfeit, right? Just like with the Omega Man, we don't know all the details of the Omega Man. The Omega Man is the gold coin. There were a couple different varieties on that particular one. Again, 75 and pennies, baby. Thank you for the super chat. So Mark Hoffman, again, I lived in Utah. I lived in Salt Lake City for a long time. I was there with Mark Hoffman, the minting of the Mormon coin, the documents that were done. He was a brilliant counterfeiter. And I don't use that word brilliant lightly. This guy, Killer Strider, says, "Hi, Bifrost." He waved. Hi. Yeah, so you have the old presses, right? So again, when you're looking at, especially the screw type press that they utilized, was much easier than the rapid circular presses that we have today. But again, this was the whole purpose of today, right? Is to talk about the fact that there's still, is it a fake? Well, if it's a fake, why would the U.S. Mint, on U.S. Mint letterhead, by an official agency, say that it's been authenticated on 2 separate occurrences? Now, what I would like to know is, and this is where PCGS, NGC, ANAX, a lot of coin professionals, with the fact that there is no mint documentation of this coin having been produced, right? And I think that's one of the things that leads me, because the mint documents everything. If they find an error, if there's an issue, what's going on, they find a particular item, they document, they indicate that that's happening. There's no documentation in the U.S. Mint stating this pairing exists, right? And so because there's no documentation by the U.S. Mint about that, other than the letter, right, coming from the Mint, coming from, and this is where I think so my thing, if it's so here's where I stand on this. Okay, so I'll finish my thought. If there's no documentation in the world of data, the bottom line is it didn't happen. Okay? If there's no data supporting it, it didn't happen. Now, here's the question. So there's a lot of questions that I have that I would need in order to make a logical explanation of yes or no. Number one, did the Mint during this time frame, when did the Mint start defacing hubs, master dies, working dies? When did they start defacing those? Because if they sold these items, right, this one is easy because they had them. But if they sold to somebody, like a damaged die or whatnot, a working or master die or master hub or working die or anything like that, if they sold any one of these, or a mint employee got one of these out of the mint, then it could be from a real die. They could have used an old press to do that. They could have used an old, they could have used an old process, like you're saying. You know, a lot of shenanigans happen by utilizing the old presses. I would want to know, number one, okay, did this reverse ever get sold? Did that die ever get sold? That's my first question. If I'm getting there too, okay, that's the next place that I'm getting to. The other thing is looking at these die markers. Okay, so is there known dies? If there is no known die marker for this particular set, that's going to raise a flag. This die marker, right, this 1959, do the die markers match any other 59s that were produced? Yes or no? And the fact is, if the die markers don't align, or this is, let's say that this is a 1959, but the die markers do match, and the mint maintained this particular die and shows damage of it. Strider with the super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. BYFROST, thank you. Love the art. Thank you so much for doing that. Killer Strider Gaming, I appreciate the super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. BYFROST is putting her thumbs up saying thank you so much.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I appreciate it.
He said he's a good guy. She appreciates it. So thank you very much. Now, so those are definitely things that I would want to do. The other thing that I would want to know, okay, so number one, is there any documentation that they sold the reverse? Are there any documentation where these particular mints, or this particular mint let go of these particular items? Okay, so if the answer is yes, then we look at die markers. Do the die markers exist on any other coin? So if you look at this, they've had it, I'm sure they've taken photos of it. It's been in the hands of ANX, it's been in the hands of PCGS, it's been in the hands of NGC, it's been in the hands of the US Mint. They got really, really good photos. Do these die markers there? Are they there, right? Love this topic, though. It brings me back to an old friend. Oh, Eric, that's. I appreciate that compliment. I really do. Thank you for that. So I would want to know that kind of information. But again, coming from a data standpoint, okay, I do analytics. I work on different structures. I work on looking at seeing and validating and verifying the information. There's still no data from the mint indicating that this coin, the presence of this coin, ever existed. Now, I talked about the 1913 Liberty Nickel. Even though that coin was produced without sanction, it wasn't approved, it wasn't verified, there's documentation of that particular coin having been minted. I got another super chat. Oh, that super chat is from Strider. Okay, thanks, bud. I forget there's like a 3-minute delay. I don't know why it does that. I need to get that fixed. But it's one of those things where the lack of documentation is what leads me to go, I can't be on board with this being authentic. Now, prove me wrong, right? US Mint, challenge. Get the coin, identify the markers, show us genuine documentation from this time frame that this happened. Right now, you lean towards PCGS and you look at PCGS and you say, you know, they were a currency expert, they were not a coin expert. Well, for those of you who understand the minting process, and Paula would talk about this a lot, if you look at the minting process, The minting process is not the same as printing money. They don't happen at the same locations, right? So is that a viable argument? Well, yeah, it actually is a viable argument, right? When you look at the experts for a particular item, the mint person who signed this letter, yeah, they may be looking at alloys, they may be looking at weights, they may take pictures, they may see certain things, look at certain security features that they have in, certain design elements, and say, yes, all of this is there. Yes, all of this is there, right? I can't even talk about the 58 because I know very little about it, but I've listened to, yeah, LiveCoin Q&A, and it's skeptical as well. Now, but again, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer. But if I was to look at this particular one, I'm going to caveat this two ways. Okay, even with there being no data, we know of mint people in the past, historically, having done some nefarious, crooked, cheaty, steely kind of stuff. Could a mint worker, a mint employee, what's up, Kevin? Thanks for coming in, bud. Could a mint employee have done this themselves? Yes, they could have. Now, would it have been difficult? Yes, it would have. Would it have only been one? No, probably not. The way the minting process is, they would have had to have thrown this on there and run this through. They would have had to been able to catch it when it was coming off. They would have had to been able to find it. There would have been a lot of things that would have had to have been put into place for this to actually happen. Could it have occurred? Yes, and we know from history that the U.S. Mint has had, as a matter of fact, I don't know all the story. I'd like to do the story. This probably will be another one for another time. But the mint employee who actually had taken the sole of his shoe, cut it, hollowed it out, and was putting stuff inside the sole of his shoe and walking out through the metal detectors going off. They would check him, they identify stuff, but eventually they found the fact that he was stealing stuff from the mint, varieties, errors, stuff that he had created by putting it in the bottom of his shoe. We know there's nefarious stuff that's happened at the U.S. Mint. Could this be genuine? Could this be the process of somebody who did that? Yes. Is it likely? Probably not. But could it have happened? Yes. We have documented evidence that it has happened in the past. Not to this extent, but we do have documentation that it has happened in the past. Okay? Again, yeah, 50s, they didn't have the technology that they do nowadays. Now when the employee leaves, there's cameras everywhere. They got scanners. You pass through x-ray machines, right? So again, and that's the best word, Chappie, plausible. Okay, now, personally, if I had $100,000, would I buy this coin? Hell yeah. I would buy it because of the controversy. It's undeniably a cool coin. Okay, fake or not. I mean, so I love the Henning nickel. Okay, I love the story about the counterfeiters, the dollar bill counterfeiters, the $20 bill counterfeiters. I love the story behind the Omega Man, the Superman. I love that kind of stuff. So personally, if I had 100 grand to blow and I could buy this coin for 100 grand, would I buy it? Abso-freaking-lutely. Real or not. Because it's a novelty. And fake or not, the history, the controversy that stems behind it, it's a cool coin. So we may never genuinely know the truth. We may never know whether or not this coin is 100% authentic. But the mystique, the aura, the stuff behind it is abso-freaking-lutely undeniable. And that is why I like this coin. Perplexed. So again, as I say this every time somebody mentions their service, we have Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Coast Guard. We have people who have served in other nations' militaries. We have Canada represented. We have Europe represented. We have Australia represented, New Zealand represented. We have so many nations where men and women have served and defended the rights and liberties of their country. So I give you a salute. Thank you for your service. I am an avid supporter. And again, for those of you who are not tracking, here on Veterans Day, in just a few short weeks away, is the Wounded Warrior Project. So I want to say thank you so much for you guys going over and checking that out. You can see that she is pretty close to being done. There's a little bit of work here that needs to go on. Steve looking for silver, are you still in the chat? Are you still with us? If you are, please put something. Big Apple, are you here? Please put something if you guys are here. Hopefully I see something come up pretty shortly. I don't see Steve looking for silver. If he's still in here, Steve, if you're still in here, please make sure you put something in chat real quick. Big Apple, if you're here, send him a message, tell him to come in. So I talked with BYFROST about this. Don't see him in here, but that's okay, not a big deal. We are going to send this over to Steve looking for silver. So Steve looking for silver, this Wolverine is coming to you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't require yeah, Big Apple and Steve looking for silver both came in. I don't require you guys to send me something to get stuff like this, okay? I like to help people out. I like to do stuff that's nice for people because they do stuff genuinely, not because they're looking for something, but because they got good hearts. They got good minds. They think about something else. Steve just did this, right? He just did something nice. So Steve, we're going to do something nice for you. So this, I forget it's backwards. Steve, this is coming to you. If you don't have it, then get the Wolverine coin. What I suggest you do is get a really cool frame, right? Throw this in the frame, take that coin, get it put into a mat, have that mat cut with a circle, put this Wolverine coin in the bottom of it, and put this together, make yourself a good piece. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready to head over to Will's Treasures. Will's Treasures, if I can have one of my moderators put that link down in there, we're going to jump on and we're going to jump over. Steve looking for silver. And again, Big Apple Stacker, you, my friend, have a Spider-Man coming to you. I want to thank you guys. You guys have supported the channel. You guys are throwing my name out there in the stream, so thank you so much. I've got other stuff coming for people. Ladies and gents, if you haven't already done so, remember, go check out the little YouTube shorts. Okay, make sure that you're commenting. I'm going to be doing something live tomorrow. Hint, hint, wink, wink. There will be a giveaway going on tomorrow, so please Go over, check that out. But to be eligible, even if you're in the stream, I don't care if you're in the stream. If your name's not pulled today off of those shorts, you're not eligible for it. Okay? So get over there and comment in those shorts and make sure that you get on that list. Ladies and gents, thank you so much for joining me today. BYFROST, thank you so much for drawing this. You guys asked. Wave, thumbs up, everybody's okay. So again, this is going to Steve looking for silver. Yep. And again, Big Apple, I don't know if you heard me, but I got you something cool coming your way. Okay? So you'll be paying attention to that. If you'll do me a favor, both you and Steve, send me emails. I need your guys' addresses. But thank you for all the support. Spray Can Coins on the way out with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate you a ton. Again, ladies and gents, go over, check out Will's Treasures. The link is there. Let's go over, jump on board that train, and we will see you